Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. I hope you guys can hear me and everything is good. If you guys just give me a thumbs up in the chat or something. If you guys can't hear me, let me know. I'm pretty sure I've tested everything out, but you never know what these kind of things are with the kinks and trying to figure out all the new streaming stuff. This is a completely brand new setup from what I had before. I am currently at work actually on my work computer, working on the computer here. And let's see. All right. So we'll get started here in a second. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kev. I can see your guys' chat up there, so if you ever see me up there, looking up there, it's probably because I'm trying to see if I got any user engagement going on. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to the photo that we will be working on today. This is the photo here. I found this online. I don't take credit for taking the original photo, but I thought it looked really cool on Instagram. So I screenshotted it, and we're going to try to recreate this here in Blender and in 3D. And so without further ado, let's get started. So that way it doesn't take too long. As per usual, just starting out with the default cube. So of course delete that thing because we don't want it. And then let's go ahead and add back in another cube. All right, cool. So I think ideally, I always like to get started with, I'll even add this as the background image to this camera here. I always like to try to get the perspective to look correct first before I really do anything. Let's see, this is the one. And if we go into camera view here, we'll want to kind of align this to have the proper rotation and spot. So let's do that. Let's grab this and we're just going to move everything back. And I am gonna just rotate on the axis here to kind of set up the perspective a little bit better. There are other ways of doing this. If you guys have F-Spy, then you know that works as well. I tend to just like to do this manually. It doesn't really take that long, and I didn't want to have to learn how to do a whole new process from that. But with that, let's go ahead and add in a plane here. I'm probably just gonna line up the environment to be on the axis of where this, like the corner is. That way I don't have to worry about later trying to get the rotations to be correct. I can kind of just line everything up here right now. And then that way when we stretch everything out, we can easily just add in this little curve here. I'm just gonna do this and line this up. And now we can start getting things created. Ideally, I'm just going to block everything out first, just so that way I have everything set up, and then from there we can get into the fine details of everything else. So starting out, I probably go to my camera settings real quick just to make sure that the world I can view far enough. If I go under view here, I need to set the end to like 10,000 or something like that, and then in our camera settings we have to do the same thing. We'll set our end to 10,000 so that way it doesn't clip out there at the back half of the bridge. So we're just gonna grab that, keep moving off screen there, and then yeah, let's go ahead and now we can add in a cube, move that over here. And then at this point, we don't need to move on the 3D cursor, so I'll move this back to individual origins or median point. Just scale it up. We're kind of just trying to set the, the size of everything to match and the blocking of it. So go back to camera view here. It doesn't have to be perfect, of course. A little bit of chaos never hurt anyone. Scale that down. Probably, actually, you know what? This is going to be scale on the Y, and I think a scale on the X as well, and we're just going to lean it more that way. There we go. And then of course we can add in that later as well. Let's go back in over here gonna extrude that down just to give ourselves, you know, a lake bed, which we will also add in a plane for that as well. So let's go ahead and scale this up, move that down, and it's probably gonna be about there. We're gonna have a different lake for over there, which will have more of the ripples type of effect on it. But we'll get to that momentarily. For right now, we're just, you know, just trying to get all the ground set up. And we can see that here, if we do, select that, probably just extend this out. There we go. Okay, so now here's the other thing. This is an off angle there, so we could probably just extend this part out to match. It starts over here about there, I think. We can just move that out now, and that can match that angle. Okay, great. So now we got that ground in there. We can start moving on to blocking out some of the other things, such as this. The cool thing is now that we have the ground in there, our contact space in Blender is already set up. So clicking here, you know, in relativity to the image that we have, we can just click on that, and that's fine. Another thing I forgot to mention, which is really important, is the amount of distortion that is on your camera. And for us, we currently, I mean, default it's set to 50 millimeters. I had already looked at this image, and I mean, for being honest, it's difficult for us to tell. That's one of the nice things about F-Spy, is that you're able to kind of get that. And the problem that we're having is we're actually stretching this image out right here. And that could be fixed through the background image here. Instead of doing stretch, you could do fit. But since we're doing a wide image, I wanted to have the image completely stretched out here. So this particular image, everything is a lot skinnier because, I mean, that's just how it is in reality. Whereas I'm trying to make a whole 16:9 photo here. So we could adjust this if we wanted to, but in our particular case, I wanted to move forward with having a full 16:9 image. So with that being said, we can line up our cursor here directly to there, and that's going to be where the post is. So I just have to add that in there, and we can just start getting work on that. Sometimes just need to get that set up like that, and then be able to pull that directly up here. It seems like it's at a slant a bit, so do that. And we can just add an array in, honestly. That way we don't have to duplicate our efforts later, because right now, the blocking stage, we're just trying to get everything set up on our scene. This is going to be along the y-axis, so let's go ahead and add another one in there. If we grab this and pull that back, since that lines up like that, we can just start adding in our fence posts. And again, it doesn't matter if it lines up perfectly or not for us, because this is the, we will be we're kind of creating our own image here from scratch. So let's go ahead and add in another cube here. Again, just for blocking purposes. And let's swap that again. This can go all the way down. Okay, so now we got that done. Let's go ahead and add in this little thing over here, which is probably just a ledge kind of step. So we're just going to add that in. we're going to need to rotate this to kind of match the rest of the walkway. So we're just going to line that up. And we're doing this in object mode, so that way when I press Y twice, I can, or XX twice, it's like you can kind of stretch things on the path and then also move it in the direction of its normals as well. So its normals are kind of the outside faces of this object. And in Blender, you can keep that with inside of your world space, basically. So now if we do that, we can stretch that to fit like that. That over there. And probably just, because I'm thinking about this in the context of what we're going to want to do later, I'm going to add another array, and we're using relative offset rather than a world, so it'll move along its local position and rotation. And we'll just add a couple more in there. Great. Now, if we go in here, let's go ahead and I'm just gonna start doing a little bit of rough modeling here. Let's go up. Z is what I need. And that's roughly about the distance that we'll want. And then this was all for naught because we're basically wanting it to line up 1 unit away from itself, basically. Perfect. So 1 unit exactly away from itself, we've got that walkway. I'm just going to probably thin that down a bit. And also kind of add some more bevels into it. Because pretty much everything in the world has bevels. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and kind of do the same thing over here. We don't have to worry too much about the fine detail of these cubes, mostly just because they're pretty far away from the camera, and we're going to cover our bases with some good texturing later on. So, alrighty then. Okay. So let's see what else we could start getting started. Let's go ahead and add in some of these poles down here. And then we can just do that. Probably something like that. Again, add some bevels in, and add an array. That way, anything we do to this one will affect the other ones going forward. So, we're probably going to want to adjust because over here it's a solid. Let's go ahead and move that up. Let's go ahead and then again add another cube. Bring that down. And again, this is just the blocking process, so a lot of this is just kind of roughing out shapes. fine. Let's add another bevel into it. And we can use a displacement modifier later to help. And okay, great. So this kind of juts out here. So if we bring this down to about there, we can grab this face here and extrude it outwards. I'm just gonna match it more or less. Like so. And let's see, okay, that's fine. I'm kind of jumbling this up here, so let's try to straighten some of this out. Just kind of matching overall the position. Way that kind of matches there. Okay, great. And that's supposed to go straight down. So this whole thing, at least this bottom half here, we're just gonna bring that out. Let's thin this down to about there. All right, great. So now we can kind of get rid of this and then start building our scene to match. Probably pull that in a little bit more. Funny though, actually now looking at just this here, that's not connected whatsoever. So let's go ahead and remove that and fill that in. I think if we just straighten this out here, it'll be fine. And then our separate container, we'll add that in as well. Okay, now let's go ahead and just scale it down a bit. And then here we're gonna add in some loop cuts. So, so we can start doing a little bit more fine tuning to the details. But before we do that, let me actually add a bit of a bevel to it, because I think the bevel is going to be more annoying to work with after we do these loop cuts. So let's do a loop cut there. Let's do a loop cut here. Hey Ben, thanks for joining. Nice to see you. And let's see, okay, what we're gonna do here now is we're gonna extrude this out. And actually, let's do both of these faces at the same time. Let's grab these top edges here, and we're going to move these back in to that should be fine. Okay, great. And then just looking at some of the setups here, let's go ahead and on the top of this, let's add our cursor to here so that way we could just grab ourselves a sphere. We'll scale that guy down. And we're actually going to go P selection on that, so that way we can have it as a separate object. Now, what I want to do here is let's scale everything in a bit. I'm going to use this as a with a Boolean modifier. That way we can cut out some of these top pieces here. And then let's see, let's grab edges here, and we're going to turn that on. I think if we do this, let's the proportions here. To something like that. And then let's do the same with this corner here. Actually, I have a better way of doing this. Let's go in and add in a cube. We're just gonna bevel the crap out of that. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, great. And we're just gonna do the very bottom of that. If we go into this, we can add in a bevel modifier, which, or sorry, Boolean. I'm saying bevel. Boolean modifier, we'll just do that. Move that out of the way, great. Before we do that, let's do this. We're gonna add in an array, and we're going to make it all the way onto the other side of this. This way we can get the exact measurements down. And then we're going to add another array. Say 0 on that. And move that to the other side of the cube. Surface face. There you go. Now with this, we could just add ourselves a Boolean in. Select that cube. Apply that, and we can delete that, and that gives us our beveled edges on that. Okay, great. I think now if we create some of these, that would be nice. So let's go ahead and we're just gonna, again, add another cube in, just more primitives. Let's do that. I kind of think actually the face should go in a bit. So if we do that, that'll be good. Let's turn this off so that way it doesn't bother us in the future. We're just gonna go down. So here we have this face of this. Let's grab that and go all the way down with it. And here, we're gonna add one more loop cut in. This time, put it at, let's say it kind of takes over at the top here. So now we can move, extrude this out, and have this go all the way in. Like so. And so now, with this edge here, let's go ahead and pull that not on the y-axis, on the x-axis. We'll just grab that, pull that out on the x-axis, and throw that down. Awesome. Okay, so we can get that. Line that up there. actually about there. I think also we'll need one more loop cut on this thing here. Okay, great. If we select this, and deselect this guy over here, we just add that in there, and that would be great. Awesome. Okay. So now, actually, I'm not sure I want it to go up that high. I do think we need another loop cut here. About this distance. And here is where I think we'll fill that in. We could delete all that over there. We'll be getting rid of that. We'll probably fill that in as well. Let's grab this face here and extrude that out. Just make it go on the y-axis only. Okay, great. Awesome. Now, with our bottom edge that we have, we select that. We can select everything that's the bottom and move it down. Awesome. Okay, that goes all the way. And we may or may not need this riverbed here. We do have it, has to be much lower. Awesome. Okay. We're getting there. Slowly but surely, we are getting there. Let me, all right, Ben, that's a good point. Let me post a Instagram post real quick. Everyone smile. And we'll just say live. It's funny, I actually forgot that I even needed a thumbnail for these things. I started this, I tried to start the stream, and I realized that you need to actually add a thumbnail on this YouTube streams before you start it. I was like, oh, I thought it auto populated it with a good thumbnail that the stream was about. I didn't realize that you actually had to do that yourself. That's crazy. So yeah, I'm learning things as I'm going here, trying to figure it all out, slowly but surely. And but we got it down. We got it down. Let's see. I was looking at my stream real quick on my phone. I was like, damn, that looks weird. It's just because I'm zoomed in on that. Okay, great. So with that being said, though, we can now go in and start adding in some more details. I would probably say let's just block out the building location real quick, so that way we have that and we can work on top of it. Just gonna scale something up here. Probably, again, I'm just mostly doing this out of inspiration. It's not like an actual duplicate of what this particular photo was, just because we're adding more material to the sides. But you know, it's a good founding place and inspiration for what we're going to be doing. Let's go ahead and grab that, move that down. If I do something like that, okay, great. And then we'll add another cube in here. Actually, better than that. Just delete that real quick. Let's go ahead and just add our farm top thing that farms have, this little jettison spot. We do an extrusion of that upwards. This just gives us the main blocking of that. Extrude that kind of in. And then now if we grab the rest of the roof, we can actually extrude it up as well. But since we extruded it separately, we can now grab this and move them in. So we're just going to move that into about there. Again, we're just roughly blocking out stuff here, so it's not exactly perfect. It doesn't have to be. It's just kind of got to be mostly just in the right angle. So let's go ahead and do that. Awesome. And we're going to add one more here and then just not extrude it, but move that upwards so that way we can get our top of our roof. Okay, awesome. Let's go ahead and start adding a few details into this. I think that if we grab these faces here, we could probably bring those out. Just kind of slowly but surely adding some details in. Something like that. We're going to need kind of the front pieces of wood that are going up. So we'll do that as well. Probably add that here. Oh, I see what my problem's going to be. Let's we're going to select this face here. This will be the easiest way of doing it. We'll duplicate that and then scale that so that way it's the same direction as the initial building. Now we can just move that over. Again, just kind of center that and add that out. Now I'm probably just gonna say let's make it its own object here. We can always change this later to be added back on. But the reason why is I want to be able to use an array so that way everything is exactly the distance it needs to be. And let's go ahead and add a few of those in there. Ooh, that was pretty close. I knew I was going to have to adjust this, but I wasn't sure how much I was going to need to adjust it. Okay, so we have that's about good because it gives us a little bit of an edge there. And yeah, okay, great. Now, we have that. This is technically a duplicate on this side over here of the building. Actually, this will be the easiest way to make sure that all of our work lines up properly. So let's go ahead and we're going to select all of that and delete it. Our origin of our object is right in the middle. We just add a mirror modifier in here and do it on the y-axis, then should be perfect there. Okay, great. Now anything we do to this side of the image will affect that side of the image there. It'll save us a bit of work. And then same with this. You can actually just mirror it. So if we go in and add the mirror modifier after the array, there it is. And again, not on the X, but on the Y. Although, actually, we don't have to. For render time purposes, we'll keep the poly count down by not modeling the side of the building that we don't see, because that's not going to help us at all. Okay, great. And then let's see, let's look at this. Ideally, as much as possible, you can handle things with textures rather than the actual 3D topology of it, because it'll make things lighter that way. And by lighter, I just mean by render times. So if we go in here, and actually this does add a bit of render times, but I do feel like it's worth it. We're just going to bevel everything. And that kind of gives it a little bit more for your guys' ease of viewing. Let me turn random on here for the object, so that way every object is its own color, and then that way we can easily see everything. Okay, great. I'm gonna start adding in some details here. We can do another cube here. I'm gonna just do this kind of archway object. Bring that into that. It's probably fine. Maybe even smaller. I would say scale this thing up first, and then oh, right, again, because our object is rotated, we're probably going to want to select this first and select that face that's on, duplicate it, and then remove it from the selection there. Now if we go into our object, sorry, our object is right here. If we go into that object, we can move this up, and we're not going to really see it too well from this side here. So actually let's apply our array modifier for this particular object, and let's select that again. Select this one here and delete it. Now if we go over here, should be able to adjust this side only because we don't need that other side anymore. With these guys, let's go ahead and select everything again. We're just going to create ourselves a bit of a lip that we want it to look like. And again, we're just going to go kind of rotated or smoothed out inwards, kind of like sanded down effect. So let's select that. I can hide this just so it makes everything easier for us. We're going to select the bottom here and extrude that. Oh no, I'm going to select these two on the bottom. I was probably selected on the top as well. We're going to kind of start just working a bit in two-dimensional here just to smooth everything out. Bring that down. Actually, I might even just kind of want to do like a little bit more detail. No, I don't like that at all. Let's do that and then just scale it down. There's a trick with these is that you can kind of go too far on them, so we don't want to, we want to kind of like even out. There we go. Smoother edge. Okay, now with this, we're going to have it kind of go up as well. So kind of go into this object. I'm just going to go to the side. Unfortunately, there's not really a side view of this angle. Let's do that. Okay, great. And let's move this out of the way. We're going to now take this and let's take a new camera. This is what we're going to do. Okay, get out of that mode. Let's add another camera now. Press Control 0. And now from this angle, press Control Alt 0 and let's change this to orthographic. So now every time we want to edit this particular object, all we have to do is go to camera view and we won't have any issues that way. Otherwise, we're constantly going to need to be doing this since it's at that weird angle. But if we select this now, we can change the orthographic scale out a little bit more so that way we can select this. Okay, great. Let's add in some loop cuts here. And we're going to turn this back on as well. We're just trying to create this kind of like turned edge there. Oh, is my volume too low? I can turn up my audio. Yeah, let me do that real quick. Let's go into my settings. Sorry about that, guys. Again, just trying to get the kinks all worked out. Let me know, is this too loud now, or am I better? Just give me thumbs up or like a yes and no, maybe a little higher. I can always adjust that, but thanks for letting me know. Cool thing is, once I have these settings, I won't have to do them again. So hopefully I could just save everything and go from there. Okay, let's scale this up, and this will allow us to have a little bit more of a curve to our object as it's coming out. Let's do that. I love you too, John. I do. Oh, is it quiet? Damn. Okay, 1 second. Let's lift it up. I can go higher. I just don't want to be. I don't want to be too loud. So, let me know if this is too loud. I'm not peaking on the levels. I can see that. So, as long as I'm not peaking, and you guys can hear me, then I'd be happy. All right, great. Let's go ahead and smooth this out, because right now it's giving off some Sharpie edge vibe, low poly vibes. So let's go ahead and add in a subdivide surface, and hopefully that doesn't crash the computer. And then we'll shade smooth that, and add in a loop cut here that's going to go up as well. And I think that's going to be good. Okay, great. So now with that being said, we can solidify this. So let's go ahead and add a solidify modifier. Now, since I smoothed everything out, it's going to have these janky edges here. And the only way to fix that, there's a couple ways actually, is for us to either make them as separate objects that are kind of like stack piled on top of each other, or to do flattened edges. So what we could do here is we could shade flat, and you'll see what I'm talking about. We're going to add in our solidifier there, unhide everything else that we have. And the only other thing we're going to need to do is grab this top here. Why can I not grab it? Oh, that's right, because it's not real. That's right, folks. You heard it here first. It's not real. Okay. Now, we can shade smooth this again, but this time we're going to take our objects, and if we go into edit mode, select just this side here, and then just the other side as well. And we don't want to go down on that. We just want the edges that are supposed to be specifically flat. So if we press that and then we press Y, we'll actually separate that as like a separate object. And so now we'll have that flattened edge. Now, all we have to do is make sure that we're not too smooth for the top there. And then we can grab this other portion here and kind of have the inverted section of that. So what I'm going to do is, since we already have the scaling down, let's go ahead and select just that square there. And if I go to camera view again, oops, we're going to turn that off. This is where it can kind of screw with you if you keep that on. And we could move this down. Now I'm trying to think, is this wider? I think it is. If we scale that outwards, we're also going to make this its own object, so that way we can work on this independently. Let's go ahead and grab this guy here, And we'll rotate this down and around and make it more perpendicular to this wall. This is pretty much just up and straight. So let's go ahead and do that. If I add another loop cut in here, we're going to make it roughly about the size of this object. Oh, I added a loop cut under the wrong thing, unfortunately. Let's add a loop cut to this side here. And we move that down. Let's go ahead and select this now, and we can extrude that outwards. Probably ending it about there. Okay, awesome. Now, this kind of walkway does need to have this pole that's going to go across, so let's go ahead and do that as well. Let's see. It's fine if it overlaps slightly. Okay, great. Now, let's go ahead and add some of these guys up to this thing up here. And then we can start adding in some of the lights and start texturing some stuff. About 52 minutes in already. That's crazy. Okay. I gotta get moving here, because otherwise I'm gonna be here all night, and I don't want to be. Okay. Awesome. So we get rid of the mirror modifier. We move this guy. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Let's duplicate the object. Move that up, and then get rid of the mirror modifier. And then we can move that guy over. Let's go ahead and select our other camera. Just go back into this camera view here. And we'll go ahead and move this down. As you can see, that's going off there, so let's go ahead and get that fixed. There's a couple ways we could fix this, because it does have to match kind of like that silhouette outline, and an easy way of doing that would be to take this guy, the house. Well, first we're gonna make sure we don't have too many of these poles, so let's go ahead and remove that. Line that up. And now in our house here, let's duplicate it so it's its own thing. And, oh well, let me make sure I select the right one. Okay, great. Fine, we'll keep the blue house. I didn't want to keep the blue house, but we'll keep the blue house. It doesn't matter at this point. We're going to apply everything that we have in here, and then we'll select the front edge of this house. And we're going to then move this outward. And now, if we just apply our array, we can use a Boolean modifier, and this time selecting our house is what we want to do. And instead of using difference, we're going to use intersect, I believe. And that mostly worked. So let's apply that, delete this, unhide our original house that we had. And now we have this random pole that's just going all the way up. All we have to do is select it. Actually, it looks like it kind of worked. Mostly worked. Just a little bit of cleanup work. This is the thing I don't like about Blender's Boolean thing. I love Blender's Boolean modifier, but at the same time, it sometimes is kind of jank. So let's go ahead and just... Oh, we're gonna have some weird topology here. Let's do this. Edges. Oh yeah, totally gonna have to do that. Okay, great. Didn't realize that I screwed that up. It was a weird topology thing. Okay, now if we go ahead and select that whole thing, we can fill that in. And now we have our top of our roof. Let's say we only have to watch out. I didn't notice this before, but let's go ahead and just pull this back. It's okay if there's a bit of a straight edge on that. And now we have all of those complete. Let's go into here and we're going to select this edge here and we're going to bevel it. I think it would be kind of nice if we could customize this bevel. So let's go ahead and click custom here and use a bit of, let's see if they got some molding. That's pretty cool. I like it. Let's keep it. Okay, great. Now let's go ahead and select the bottom of this, and we're just gonna have it go down. Not that far is fine. The only problem is that it's clipping, so I almost want to scale it inwards. Like just kind of like let it, yeah, that's fine. As if it's behind that object. I like that. Okay, great. Now with both these selected, let's go ahead and duplicate those, and let's go ahead and mirror them. Again, not on the X, but on the Y, and that's perfect. That lines up with our door. We're good. Okay, great. Let's see. Let's start adding in this bulb here. So again, we're probably going to want to, again, duplicate the face of the object. So let's duplicate, selection, and then let's go ahead and go out of edit mode, select that guy. We're gonna select just that face. We don't need anything else. Let's go ahead and scale this down. Probably from individual or median origin point. Let's even say maybe even the 3D cursor, because that's where we're gonna want it, ideally. Let's go ahead and scale that down. Let's move this to about there. Let's do this. Okay, great. Now if we add a mirror modifier, should be fine. Let's go ahead and extrude this outwards. Give ourselves an object to work with. Okay, let's go ahead and apply our mirror modifier. We'll kind of want to do that momentarily. So let's first do this. Okay, so we have our object. I don't think it's centered. So we're getting this double vertice issue, and this isn't really a problem right now, but it will be, because once we start working with the topology more in depth, then it's going to start to become an issue. We can select these 4 vertices though, and then say, oh whoops, we can select these 4 vertices here, Shift S, and then say cursor to selected. At this point we could say object, and then we could say origin, or set origin, and then origin to 3D cursor. Now it's going to set those to be in the same exact spot. Only other thing that we might have needed to do is if we scale on the y-axis 0, then that'll flatten everything first. And then if we go Shift S, cursor to selected, this will make it perfect. Go back into object mode, object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. Now if we apply this, our vertices will be correct and they will have merged correctly. Otherwise they would have created intersecting vertices, and that is a problem, especially for later on. Like for instance, if I tried to take this face here and I wanted to extrude it but then scale it down, it would create problems. So ideally I want to get rid of that. All right, fantastic. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and select our median point. That way I can do what I just showed you without screwing up. Because if I select, if I extrude this now, it's going to scale everything down kind of on the center. I'm going to scale everything kind of inward a bit, a little skinnier. And we're going to select this now and extrude that out, give ourselves a little bit more of a bevel on this particular object, kind of to give it some more depth. Let's also then select this. We have this bulb kind of effect that we want to do, so let's throw that up. Extrude again. We're going to scale that down, and this time we're just going straight out with it. We could probably create a fake kind of round effect if we do this. Just added a few more loop cuts. And then we can grab our vertices that are on our outer edge here. Whoops, not that one, this one here. We're gonna just scale those in. Great. So now all we have to do is select all of these faces and extrude it outwards. Just scaling it down as we're going, just to give it more of a round effect. Great. Okay, awesome. And the only other thing I think is if we select everything, we could just bevel everything. Ooh. Does look a little janky, but well, I don't want to shade that smooth. I think almost we need a subdivide surface on this guy. Okay, well I think once we get into texturing, it's gonna be okay. It's far enough away also if we're over here that you're not gonna notice too much on that. So let's go ahead and scale it up. There we go. We're gonna create the outer kind of like cage on this. There's kind of like two things that are going on here. So if I get rid of that and we first selected just this bulb, kind of. I'm gonna get rid of our bevel as well that I added, because I want to do this beforehand. If I select everything here and we just go to the side profile of it real quick, I want to select just the bulb. I do want to be in plane selection, not edge selection. Okay, great. Just deselect some of these planes that we don't need, because those are not part of the bulb. Press Y here, and then we'll press P and get that as its own object. Okay, awesome. Now, if we bevel this, I think we'll have a better... Oh, that's also because we're using presets here. So if we go back to default, or yeah, like that. unintentionally, it added some of these kind of like marks onto it as if it's somewhat dented, which I quite like. I quite like that. Let's go over here and we'll shade that smooth because that's what we're gonna need. And let's go ahead and create this cage effect. It's an X that's happening over this bulb, kind of coming from each corner. There are a couple ways we could do this actually. So if we go into our edit mode here and we select just this edge that's going here, and I'm just going to do that by pressing Alt. And then let's just do that again. Is that possible for me to... No? Okay, that's fine. Let's say P selection. And we'll select this guy here. P selection. And then we'll do it again here. P selection. Do this guy. P selection. Great. Now, if I select the outer light that we had and then hide that, what I can do is I can select these guys that are in kind of the X formation. Let's Control J that. We'll put them in the same object. And we're going to then connect them in the center. Oh, that's right. Extrude scale 0. And then we'll go up here and do mesh. If we do mesh, clean up, we just move this. Clean up, merge by distance. And we'll press Alt H or Alt H out in object mode. We can just now pull that out. Awesome. Now, I wonder, I think there's a couple ways we could do this. I know if we convert it to a curve, we can do it. I'm curious if we could do that directly inside of here. If we just add solidify. No, that doesn't work. Okay. If we convert this object to a curve, and I can't remember how to do it. I think it's... Do you just right click it now? Yeah, convert to curve. Under our curve settings, because now you'll notice that this is all just curves. And under our curve settings, we can go to our geometry and then do extrude. Ooh. Let's see. No, is it depth? Yes, it's depth, just not that much depth. And now we can add in 0.001. Is that better? It's better. And now it's a lot easier too, because you can just grab these and move them. The only problem that we're going to have with this curve is that it doesn't look that great. So we can actually increase the resolution here, do something a little bit better. I'm going to do that. Now that that's finished, that's fine. What we can now do is we can right click it again and then say convert to mesh. And now inside of our edit mode, I think the only thing we really want to do is again go here and do cleanup, merge by distance. And it did remove some vertices that were unneeded. And we can go and shade smooth this. I don't think we need much more than that. It is a little rough still. I know it's going to be further away from the camera, but we can fix that just by throwing a solidify modifier on there. And then the only other thing that I think would be really nice to do is if we select all 4 of these edges here, do Shift S, cursor selected, we'll scale this up by cursor. So if we do that like this, then it'll be outside of that light for sure. So that will work great for us. And we can move on. Move on to other things, better things, some would say. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna just extrude this guy out up here, just to give ourselves a roof that we can work with. And again, we're gonna go into edit mode. And actually, we don't really have to do much with that. I kind of want to extrude just this portion up. Oh, whoops. Forgot it's mirrored. let's do this. We're just going to go straight Z. Awesome. Okay, great. And let's go ahead and put some lines in here as well. So we're going to select this face. We'll do duplicate that face and just get rid of that. Now we just have just the face. Oh. There we go. I don't know why it's not letting me do that. That's crazy. Okay, so we can scale this guy all the way down. Oh, that's right, we don't want to do that. Let's do medium point again. Gotta get shortcut keys set up for that. Okay, awesome. Let's move that over here. And if we zoom in close to that, we're just going to extrude this upwards slightly. There we go. And that's on both sides. Awesome. And the only thing we need to do now is we'll add an array and about this distance. Yeah. And now we're just gonna increase that number all the way to the edge here. I would say let's just decrease the distance between it just so that way we can get this to line up. -4.1 or 4.15. Close. So close. There we go. 6. Awesome. Not that you can really even see that because that's off camera, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, awesome. Now let's go ahead and we also don't need it on the other side, so let's go ahead and remove the mirror as well because we're not seeing that side of the barn. Let's go ahead and grab this face here. We're going to duplicate it. P, selection. Perfect. Now if we just grab that, we do need it mirrored. Let's turn it off for now because I don't know if I'll need to mirror before or after the array. So let's scale that guy down. Now, are these lining up with, no, they're not. Okay, great. So there's more of them. Let's move this over. Let's kind of do that. Zoom in on it, and we can extrude this up as well. Add in an array. Kind of do that. I think about there is a good distance. Let's move that back and this down. Let's go ahead and adjust the size of it to be about there. Perfect. Great. Now, if we do our mirror, I think, let's see what happens. Yeah, no, we want to do that mirror after the array. Turn that on and boom, that'll be perfect. We'll turn that on for render as well. And let's see. It's kind of off camera, so we don't need to do anything more with the roof. We're kind of just pretty much finished now with the barn. There is like this window thing here. We can kind of do something about that. Let's go ahead and go in and apply that modifier. Yeah. If we go in here now and we select these faces, let's do a duplicate of that and selection. And we'll scale this guy down. We're gonna move this up. It's above the light. That's right. Okay. Let's see. We need to do that again. This time, I'm going to select that. Just this one face, I think. Selection. I don't know what I did there. I wasn't paying too closely attention. Now that that's there, I'm going to add a mirror modifier in actually. Great. We'll apply that. Fantastic. Go into edit mode. Scale that guy down to about... So to about here. Move that up. Take our top. Scale that to 0. It's pretty much square. I'm just gonna extrude that out slightly. Select everything, bevel it. Perfect. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and select all of these objects here, and then we'll just move those down. And fantastic. So we finished that house. The mountains that are in the background, those are actually going to be pretty easy to do. Let's go ahead and just add in, duplicate this, add in an ocean. These things can get pretty big, these scenes, especially if they're going off pretty far. That's why I always say to, 1 second. Yeah, it's lower than. I was like, what is going on? I think it's clipping off on the distance. Right? No, it's not. Okay, it's just too far away. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. I was like, why am I not able to see everything? There we go. Okay, great. Now we got our ocean that we have here. We can get these ripple effects pretty easily in Blender. If you just add in an ocean modifier, it just already adds all the ripples and stuff for you. The only thing is the scaling is going to be way too big. So what we want to do is set the size. I remember, I think, yeah, okay. And then we're going to set the repeater. Might actually not need to scale this thing so high. Let's see, spatial size. Let's set the size here. Yeah, okay, great. Let's take this. We're going to take everything, scale it down. We're going to fix this ocean. Because it pretty much just needs to be like this. No resolution doesn't need to be that high either, so let's just set that to 7. And we can scale this guy down as well. Okay. Let's grab this by X. And under our repeater for our X, we're going to want to rotate this 180 degrees, I think. And then we'll have that go out there. And then for our Y, fantastic. Great. So let's set this to 60. And let's set our resolution to something like 2. Again, because we're not making waves here, we're just kind of adding some ripples to the ocean. And don't worry too much right now about, right now it's very much a duplicate of everything kind of going backwards. So don't worry too much about the kind of randomness of the ocean yet, because that'll happen here momentarily. But what we are going to do is going into our camera view, we know that we have some mountains we're going to add in. So let's go ahead and do that here. camera view. I have landscape enabled. If you don't have that, you go to your preferences and then under add-ons. Let's see, where's add-ons? It's called a.n.t landscape. Just enable that. This will allow us to add in a nice, beautiful landscape. Let's go ahead and scale that guy up. Let's scale that down. Again, over here, I'm gonna probably do this for my sake right now. Do something like that. Let's have that go down. Let's scale this guy down as well. I'm just gonna duplicate it, honestly, even though it's the same thing. This is two different mountains. Add those together. Fantastic. And now if I actually go in and apply my ocean modifier, I'm gonna select everything and then scale that on the Z space to be 0.2. Oh, whoops. Scale that on Z to be 0.2. How about 4? I think something like that would be nice. And then we're going to add another mountain in here. Way back there. Add another mesh, landscape. Scale this guy up. Let's see. Okay, let's add in a landscape. We're going to customize this one so that way we can get it to look a little closer to what that is. See, they do have presets, so let's see. We want it to be. I haven't used this in a minute. Okay, so here we go. So it's on hetero terrain. Let's see. That's interesting. It's a little closer to the shape we want. It's interesting. A bit of a valley. So I think I'm gonna go with this hetero thing. Let's scale that out as well. I'm going to scale everything up quite a bit larger. I want it to be pretty good distance. Go ahead and move this a little further up. Just trying to get more visibility on the ocean between this guy and the mountain. And now, actually, if we go here, let's go ahead and place this like about there. Hide this guy. I do like the shape of how these mountains are, so I don't want to lose that. So let's go ahead and sculpt it. Go to sculpt mode here. Just going to use the grab and add some more shape to these mountains. something like this. All right, okay, let's get out of that. That works fine for me. And then this guy here, let's go ahead and duplicate him. Move that over there just so that we have a little bit more something like that. Scale this up slightly. Gotta hide that edge. Okay, great. Awesome. Let's hit the save button, guys. Hour and a half in, gotta hit that save button. Because, you know, if you ain't saving all the time, then a little risky. Not preferable. So, let's see. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and add in some of these bricks here. And then we can get to doing this chain and some of that stuff. We also have this walkway is a bit more elevated, so if I grab that, we could probably extrude that up. I'm actually going to move this as well as the whole railing up as well. Okay, awesome. Great. Let's go ahead and add in an edge here. I think we can do that by just adding in that. Let's have this guy go out slightly. Okay, awesome. That'll give us that edge that we need there. And then let's select our railing that we created over here. And let's duplicate it and rotate it. We're just gonna place this on this other edge here. Actually, we can increase the amount that we're requesting. Rotate 180. Great. Let's line that up there. If I grab this here, just place that exactly there. Fantastic. Now let's one more array. Fantastic. Okay. Let's get to doing some of these bricks here. I think if we select this whole thing, I still think it could be slimmer. Not exactly matching it exactly, but it doesn't matter. Okay. Structurally, I don't know that that would be good if it went outward like that, so let's keep that up there. Okay. Let's select everything here and let's bevel it. Okay. I don't think these are very 3D-ish bricks, so we might not need to do a 3D texture. But let's see. Let's add these metal clamps on. Let's go in here and just move this out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. We're going to scale this guy down and up on the Z-axis. Let's cut this down here. I'm going to have it go in on the inside. Perfect. Okay. Now, let's have it go up to a point, kind of like this on the x-axis, and scale that up. Great. Use an array and a mirror right here and on the y-axis, and I think, yeah, we can offset it, right? Is that possible? Mirror you. I thought it was possible to. It's fine. We're gonna do it this way. We'll select this face here, cursor to selected. We're basically just setting a center to this other object over here. If we select this guy and then say object set origin to 3D cursor, I'll just flop everything onto the other side. Let's see. Almost. Just turns out, oh, that's right, because that's what we did. Okay, great. Let's apply everything that we have here and go into our editor here, and we'll select all of this guy, and we're gonna move him out. And then we'll select all the faces and move those back. Great. Now let's create ourselves a plate for the top. Which, I mean, yeah, we'll just do it this way. Okay, and from here we'll add in some more loop cuts. There's a couple ways we could do this. Let's just do a double loop cut first, and then we'll do a single loop cut here and a single loop cut here. And now if we select these faces, we can extrude these up and scale them in. And let's see. We kind of want them to go in as well, so let's Shift S, cursor selected, and then we'll do I think if we do, I can't remember what, there's some shortcut. Yeah, there's some shortcut, and I want to do that rather than, but for right now, we're just going to move everything in like this. Not the proper way to do it, folks. Sorry about that. Okay, great. Now that that's like that, actually kind of want to go in and oh, interesting. You know, you can do that. Learn something new every day. The smoothness. Oh, ooh. Okay. I'm gonna have to go like that. I like it. I didn't know you could do that. Let's delete these exterior ones since we're not really seeing those anyways. Perfect. Okay, awesome. That's exactly what I wanted, and I accidentally did it. Let's go in now, and we're gonna delete this center section now, and go X, faces, faces, and let's select this whole edge now, because I deleted the interior of it. Let's go ahead and now take that whole thing, and we're gonna extrude it like so, and do the same thing for the other side. Oh, no, we don't want to do that. Okay. We're going to need to take this one piece here and extrude it, I think. No, you can't. I think if we do flip normals, we'll have to right click it or go up to mesh and then normals and then flip. If we do that, then it won't, shouldn't anyways. If it does, then that's unfortunate. We'll just have to extrude it like this and do the manual work. That's fine. It's fine to have to do manual work every now and then, though it's not preferable. Okay, so if we select these edges here, select just the edges, we should be able to merge everything. Okay, now we'll do that again, this time with these faces as well as the faces on the opposite side. And then these faces here. I know this isn't correct, but it's a render, so no one cares. Okay, awesome. Yeah, as long as you've got that, that's fine. So now if we go in and add a subdivide surface, we're gonna wanna loop cut these edges here, loop cut these edges here, and then loop cut the top edges as well. And now if you do a shade smooth, let's go ahead and go to orthographic view, go into face selection, select everything here, and we'll press Y. Awesome. Now we just gotta fix these ugly edges here. It's all about fixing the ugly edges. That's all life is about. It's just one set of ugly faces after another. Okay. Perfect. Looks so much better. And no one needs to see it from this angle because it's not gonna be visible to everybody else. Okay, awesome. Now the other thing to do is fix the edges on the base plate as well. Do that again just by adding edge loops. Awesome. Okay, great. Let's move upward. Upward and onward. Add in a cylinder. We're gonna just model everything from this guy now. So if we select our face here, we can kind of extrude that, scale it down, you know, give ourselves some details. Just go up a little bit, scale that out again. Great. And then from there should be a cube. So we'll select another cube, add that in there, drop that there. Awesome. Okay. Let's move this up now. I'm just gonna scale that upwards. We're gonna give it some shape. So edit mode here and bring that out there. Perfect. Now we can kind of actually just duplicate this guy. And then on the face, we're just going to move our cursor up to that and then just say set origin to 3D cursor. And now we can just rotate that outwards. Let's rotate that on the... Rotate that on the Z axis, yeah. So flop it upside down, scale that guy up, and then we're gonna grab this guy again, we're just shortening it. Loop cut this. Great. Kind of keeping that straight edge at the top, so it's just kind of going down there. Let's go ahead and select everything, bevel it. Oh, actually, before we do that, let's go ahead. Oh, we can do that over here. So if we select this now, let's go ahead and extrude it outwards, scale it up, give ourselves the edge to it. Now we're just going to bevel everything. We'll bevel everything on this as well. Great. Let's get the rest of this arm on here. And honestly, we can almost start moving on to texturing. Let's do... Yeah, let's outline everything. Make it a little easier for you guys to see what's going on here. Okay, awesome. Let's finish the rest of this arm here, and then we'll do the chain. We're pretty close to getting ready to do the texturing section. So we're gonna extrude that, scale that down a bit, and bring that out. Actually, we could do this before the bevel, so. It doesn't really matter. We could bevel just this section. So we're going to extrude, scale that guy down. Press Y. Extrude that out. Now we can just select just this section. Keep going on that. That's fine about there. Let's go ahead and extrude this. I like that. Perfect. Okay, great. And now if we just select this section here, we can bevel just the edges on that. Awesome. Okay, awesome. Now we just add in the chain. And we're pretty close. I might add some of these. What are those? Just more rocks. We're just going to add in a torus here. Scale this guy down. All right, let's duplicate this. Go to edit mode on this one and duplicate that down. Great. So now we can use another array modifier and we can lessen the distance. Oh, interesting. I think we actually want to keep it still like in the sky. If that's the case, let's take this whole thing here and rotate it upward slightly and on the Z a bit. Let's fix this. Okay, let's rotate it like this. And here we'll rotate it like this. So now it's going straight down. And then let's add in 2 more chains. Perfect. And let's get rid of that. And we need a couple special chains. So we'll grab this one here, delete that torus, and take this one here, oops, and scale this guy up. We'll press Alt-S first just to make it a little more thick. Thick boy. Perfect. Okay, great. And then from here we'll add in the hook. So probably gonna have to model that ourselves because I don't have one already. That's all good. So, easy way of doing that would be to let's go in here and then let's add in probably a cylinder. No, because I don't want it to be round. I think if we just do a cube, we'll be fine. Okay, great. Let's gotta center that here. And then just go into edit mode. And we're gonna rotate this like so. Let's grab that. Thank you, Ben. I don't know when you sent that. I'm sorry, I'm not checking chat very often. Let's go ahead and I'm just gonna go to the side view on this. I'm overcomplicating this, I know. Let's just delete this bottom section here, vertices, and let's grab everything here. We're just gonna create this hook manually, like so. Just create the outline of it. I was trying to create it from a primitive rather than manually creating it. I probably wasted more time than I needed there. So let's see. I feel like it's both too thick and not thick enough. go ahead and just rotate that whole thing. But Jesus, dude, I'm like... Just go in here and just start putting those together. And that's some good topology. Oh, okay. And then let's go ahead and add in this guy. It doesn't really matter because it's going to be silhouetted anyways. Now let's fix this really ugly. It looks so bad. 1 second, I can fix it. I can fix it. 1 second. Don't judge. Perfect. I don't know that that word and this should be put in the same sentence, but okay, great. And from this distance, let's be real. It looks like crap, but no one cares, okay? So, we're getting there, we're getting there. Now we can start doing some lighting. We will get going here. Okay, so, let's duplicate this guy over here real quick before I forget. Do that on this window rather than the other one. Let's go to the top view here. We're gonna just duplicate him and move him towards the camera. And yeah, great. Let's move that down. Over here. Awesome. Okay, great. Now we can get into actually making it look nice rather than the crap that it currently looks like. The only thing we might want to do is that these slabs, since they're so close to the camera, we might actually just want to model ourselves some nice looking slabs. We can do that real quick by selecting this face here, duplicating that selection. Boom. Now we got ourselves that. Let's go into our edit mode here. Delete that. We're just gonna post, just create ourselves a slab. We can do that by just extruding upwards. Now, all we have to do is, with an array modifier, I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but arrays are kind of my favorite thing. And then we just bevel it in. And now, with our y-axes, we're just going to line this up with 1.1 or 1.05, maybe closer, something like that maybe, pretty close. And all we have to do is increase that number there, way to the edge. And now we got ourselves some slabs. Okay, now that we have that, let's go into our edit mode, select this very edge here, Shift S, cursor to selected. Great. Now, we're going to want to, I feel like, what's the best way of doing this? Yeah, okay, gotcha. Let's take this whole thing. We're going to scale this by the y-axis on this side. So let's just drop that there. Change this to 3D cursor. Scale this on the y-axis all the way outward. And then on our ground plane that we created, let's select that guy. Do the same thing we did earlier. We're going to grab this face here and this face, extrude it upwards. Oh, before we do that, let's duplicate it, go into edit mode, and select both faces and then extrude it upwards. And now, if we go back here, we'll select this guy, apply our array, go into Boolean mode, select our new beautiful mat that we just created, and instead of difference, we'll select union. I think I froze. We'll get it back, don't worry. It's not like officially frozen, but it's like kind of frozen. Oh, there, it wasn't frozen at all, I guess. Let's grab our mat. Just gonna move. All right, as long as it creates that line there, that's what we need. Okay. This here will do exact. Oh, well, it inverted it. Oh, I selected union. Oh my god. Okay, yes, I'm going crazy, but it's all good. Let's apply that. Select our matte edge now. We get rid of it, and we have this sidewalk that's gonna follow the curve. Wow, that took me way too long. I apologize for that. I'm only human, okay? I'm only human. let's go ahead and let's start doing things here. Let's select this and we duplicate them upwards. This is where you can kind of get to be a bit of a perfectionist on it, because not all of this has to happen. Let's do P selection, and we'll use another array. And this one again, 0. What was I doing over here? Oh, I don't even remember. It was like 1.02 for the y-axis. And we'll make that negative on this one. That way it's going the opposite direction. And we'll get those going all the way down. We don't need 400 though, that's for sure. Awesome. Now let's texture this crap. We'll start off by lighting it. So let's jump over into Eevee, because I'm not going to do this. Oh, sorry, not Eevee. Cycles, because I'm not going to do this in Eevee. We'll turn on GPU. Let's double check to make sure my settings are correct here. Yep, I'm using everything. Awesome. I'm using it all, guys. Why I'm so far zoomed out over here. Go into render view. Oh, that looks drab. Looks drab. And let's turn on physical atmosphere. This is gonna do a lot of the heavy lifting for us, rather than having to do it manually ourselves. So let's just do that. And actually, before we jump into cycles, let's go to Eevee real quick. Let's also save, because this is about the time that it usually crashes. We're going to our atmospheric settings here. I just wanted to go into Eevee because it's faster to do this. But let's change the horizontal line on this thing so that the sun is over here. Yeah, there it is. There's the sun. Go to camera view to keep it going. Perfect. Let's change its verticalness. Not too low. Let's get it kind of just sunsetting, you know? Want it to be a little brighter, so let's do that. And let's change the density. Let's change the intensity. Whoa. We're just trying to ballpark it here. So we can adjust a lot of this stuff directly inside of our Nuke comp. Let's do it this way. Perfect. Let's do that. I know it's a little more blown out than I'd like, but let's adjust for the clouds. So, because we can fix a lot of the blown outness of it inside of our Blender comp. What are we doing here? Oh, lovely. I'm probably freezing everything because I think I accidentally stayed clicked. Do procedural for the clouds. Let's see, let's add some thickness to them, or remove the thickness, I should say. Just try to get it to not look so moody. Okay. And let's see. Lunicity. change the scale now. Okay, and here's the trick also. If we go to, we won't worry about that quite yet. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna get out of Eevee now. We're gonna go straight to cycles, and we can start shading some stuff and giving ourselves some details to be looking at. Let's see. Let's go into here. I'm gonna swap this over here to a shader editor, and let's go ahead and add a effect onto this. Already working. Let's go to 3D viewport on this guy, just so I can still adjust my atmospheric settings pretty easily. I think I'm gonna want the intensity to be higher. Oh, not that high. Maybe what I need to do is I need to change the vertical of this sun to be lower, and then I need the intensity to be higher, and then let's see, the density to be lower. This is a lot of just customizing these things to kind of get exactly what you need. Playing with it, and let's see. Work. Okay, great. And then I think I just reset that back to 2. Okay. And not gonna worry too much about that. Let's get the ocean to look a little bit nicer. If we open up image editor on here, we're just gonna use this as a reference to kind of what we're going for. Let's select our ground now. Let's make sure I'm selected on the right thing. Totally am. Awesome. So this is, okay, I see, okay. We're gonna swap this over from the surface of Starlight atmospheric material. Interesting. We're gonna do glass, and we're gonna change the roughness, and we're gonna change the color of it. And let's go back to our image editor here. And then one of the tricks that we're going to do is opening up a new shader. Let's add in a cloud texture, and we're going to change the scaling of this thing to be really small, and change the depth as well. If we go over to our modifiers now, we can add a displacement modifier on top of everything, and we will be selecting our texture that we already created here, and this will allow us to change more than just the scaling that we had before of kind of everything feeling very rough. This will allow us to kind of keep everything a little bit more unique. Let's change the depth here to something smaller. And then we'll also go into our modifier here and change the strength to be something smaller as well. And that'll allow us to add some randomness into it. Let's change the mid-level as well. I don't want any weird clipping. And then if we go into our shader now, let's make some adjustments. To be honest, I don't like the scaling of the waves, so let's fix that. I'm doing that over here right now. Let's scale this down. And if we go, we can always just add an array on top of everything. Let's add an array on an array. So if we do a 1, we can increase the quantity that we have to like 20, I guess. And let's add another array. And this one's going to be 0 here, and I think -1. Is that the direction everything's going? Oh no, it's 1. And we will, of course, duplicate that as well. Might not need that many, so we might want to decrease. Actually, yes, we're going to want to decrease this. Let's go to like 20. And then we'll just do this as like 0.9. That'll get rid of our seams. And actually, if we do -0.01 as well, actually -0.1, that'll just make it so that we don't have any seams that way either. Alrighty then, so if we check this out again, I'm gonna want to probably, I don't like our lighting that we currently have, so at this point we're probably going to start customizing it as well. If I add another sun in, I'm gonna put it there. Let's rotate on the into medium point. Actually, I have a setup for this. Want something like that. I'm going to select the color to be the same color as our sun that we currently have, because I don't want it to be actually probably something more like this. Okay, and now if we change our angle, we can get it to be more of a point. Just may need to rotate that downward. That's kind of where we have to go more like a, it's got to be more saturated. Just not as red, of course. And we could do that by adjusting kind of the hue here. Okay, now if I select this guy, let's adjust him as well. Probably going to make him less saturated. And we in comp can darken certain portions of it because we're just not going to get that in 3D. So once we get there, we'll be fine with that. Let's for these, what is this? Should probably start labeling my stuff. Yeah. Let's go in here. We're going to label this as lower walkway. Label this as upper walkway. We're going to label this as, doesn't really matter. We're going to join these together. We got chains. Okay, awesome. Let's go in and change the value of that. I do want to find us some textures. Unfortunately, I didn't grab any before I started this live stream today. So you guys get to see part of that process here. We're going to go to this website here. Let me pull it up over here. Do it over here. Let's see. I forget what the website address is. I think it's Textures 3D. Oh, you know what? It's on my work Chrome. So one second, let me do that real quick. Texture Haven, that's the one. Textures. Okay, great. So we're gonna find some good looking textures for our walkway first. So let's find some wood. It's under polyhaven.com. If you guys wanna find these textures as well, highly recommend them. We're going to get some wooden texture right now. Probably just this because we already created our plank effect ourselves. So we don't need to get the weathered plank. But if you guys didn't do that, then you guys could grab whatever you need. I'm gonna look for actually weathered. Oh, I like this. Yes, rough wood. Let's grab this. We'll just grab the 4K version of this. Throw this under downloads is fine. And then let's go find something else as well. So let's look for some brick. Oh, that's right. I'm under the wooden section. Let's see. Go under brick. And again, we're just going to search for weathered. And, ooh, I kind of like this. Yes, let's go with this one. Download this guy. And let's see, what else do we need? Metal of some kind. We're gonna go find some metal, search for weathered again. This will be fine. I like it. And actually, that'll be fine for everything. Okay, great. So now let's go into doing some texturing. Drop in here. You guys can see some of the stuff I'm doing. We're gonna first select the, go to outliner. I'm gonna select the upper walkway, and we'll create a new shader. Probably should have kept principled. Keep principled. Drop that into surface, and we're going to go to our downloads now and grab our rough wood. We'll do 7-zip extract 2, and then plaster as well. I'll just do all of these right now, and this one right there. it's interesting. It gave me a blend. Oh, it gave me blend files. Interesting. I mean, I won't be using those, but that's very cool. Okay, great. So we're just going to drop in the rough wood, and then we'll drop in the displacement as well as the wood roughness and the normals. Displacement, let's just connect that. We have no array selected on it. We'll select everything, and then we'll do Smart UV. Okay, awesome. The only thing I'm concerned about right now is that under our, let's do another split here. Do a vertical split and do UV textures on this side of the window here. If I select rough wood texture and I go into edit mode here, that's right. Everything is like really small, so we're just gonna have to scale it up. It's an unfortunate part of it. Let's go ahead, edit mode. We're just gonna scale. Yeah, it's upward like that. Okay, and honestly, the scaling might be pretty close to what we need it to be. Cool, so now that we have our UVs set up, we can actually just move this over here. For this, we'll select this as an sRGB texture because it's not film light linear. So let's just select that real quick. And then for our displacement, I can move that over there. I probably need to select a, do I need to do that? I don't think so. Yeah. You can adjust the displacement by a math node. And you can use a multiply of it, and we can make it way more if we need it to be, or way less if we need it to be, which I think probably somewhere like a 0.1. So not quite as heavy as it was, but still decent. And again, this is going to be a actually, they don't have non-color on my color configuration that I have here. So that's something I think we'll be fine then in this. For our roughness, we'll select our roughness and then throw that under roughness. And we should be good. And then our normals, we'll drop that into normal. But before we do that, you want to drop in a normal map. Perfect. If we select our lower walkway, we could just select the same exact texture. Not that texture. Yes, this one. We should probably start naming our stuff. Not exactly happy. Let's go. I'm not exactly happy with the roughness on this, so we're probably gonna go in here, change the roughness ourselves. Let's make it completely rough. That way we're not reflecting any light. And let's go into edit mode on this guy. We're gonna go to our UV editor. Edit on the rough wood, so let's select everything. and we're gonna say U, and then we're gonna do smart UV. Oh, no. U, and then yeah, smart UV project. And there we go. And we're just gonna look at this again, top down. Just have to fix the scaling of it. I think that'll be good. Okay, now we can go in and start texturing out the cobblestone area here. Actually, guys, I think this stream is going a lot longer than I was expecting it to. We're already 2.5 hours in. I was only planning on going to 7, so why don't we hit the pause button here. I don't know that I'm doing much this weekend, so I might try streaming again this weekend, and we can finish this up. Now that we have everything kind of like rough modeled out, that might be the best solution. Because right now I'm pretty hungry, so I'm gonna go get me some dinner. And yeah, but we started work on the texturing already and everything like that, as well as some rough lighting. Honestly, it's not looking how we want it to look yet, so we'll get there. But for right now, this is a good spot for at least the rough building of everything. And you know, we'll do some more detailed modeling again in the future, and we'll start finishing that up. I'm pretty sure, let me look at my calendar. Pretty sure I'm available tomorrow to fix it. If I don't get to it this weekend, then unfortunately, I'm not sure if I'll be streaming next weekend or not, because I'll be at SIGGRAPH. So if any of you guys are at SIGGRAPH, make sure to send me a message. You can follow me on Instagram and shoot me a message. I would love to meet up with you guys. If you guys are going to SIGGRAPH, this is my first year. If not, then I'll see you guys at the next live stream that we do. But this was fun. I enjoyed it. I got some new things planned that are going to be coming up. So I'll let you guys know when I'm going to do my next stream. I'll post it on my Instagram story as well as on Twitter. So the links are in the description below for both of those. So if you want to follow me, send me a follow. I'll chat with you guys if you send me a DM. That'll be awesome. Love to connect with you guys. And I'll let you know when the next stream is going to happen so we can finish this build up. As we're getting back into the groove of things, we'll figure out the kinks and everything, and it'll be super awesome. But thanks, guys, for coming to hang out. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk with you guys soon. All right, peace out.